Hey everyone, Rob from Southgate Media Group here. Before we get started with this podcast, we have a quick message. If this is your first time checking out the show, we love that you found us and we really hope you enjoy it. What we have to say is for the subscribers. If you enjoy our shows, would you please donate to help keep these going? We don't want to have to put traditional ads on these shows, but this does cost money. So we really do rely heavily on donations. To make a donation to the show, please go to our website, www.southgatemediagroup.com. Go to the page for the show, and in the upper right-hand corner is a donate button. It takes you right to PayPal, and you can donate whatever amount you want. Thanks a lot for listening, everybody. And now, on with the show.
Primatech peeps, well, welcome back to the Primatech Files, a Southgate Media Group podcast dedicated to the used-to-be hit show Heroes, as well as its upcoming revival, Heroes Reborn. I'm Lilith, and on the hunt for specials with me, as always, is...
Ricky! Hello!
Up for discussion today is episode 307, Eris Quod Sum. Let's just dive right into the recap. Haste makes waste, but this is basically waste, so let's get to it. Okay, starting with the recap. Original air date is October 27th, 2008. This was written by Jesse Alexander. It's directed by one of my favorite and now prolific supernatural directors, Jano Swark. He also directed Highlander. Don't know if you guys know that. The first one. None of the other ones. So the synopsis?
I have. Having become monstrous, Mohinder attacks Nathan and Tracy, who try to save Maya and the other subjects. Elle surprises the Bennett family. Angela tries to convince Sylar to save Peter from Pinehurst. Daphne is ordered to kill Matt for not joining the villains. Hiro doubts Usutu's advice on how to handle his opponents.
Okay, important plot points and players and plot points. Mohinder seeks help from Arthur. Sylar goes to Pinehurst to rescue his quote-unquote brother. Nathan and Tracy become entangled. You see what I did there? Mohinder's work. Elle and Claire decide to team up. And Daphne is ordered to kill Matt. And Hiro stubbornly refuses to take the next step in his journey while Noah and his new partner go on their first mission.
Yay.
People, places, and things. Nothing new to talk about, so we can just head right on into the breakdown if you want.
Yes, I think we should probably talk about Arthur first, because he's probably one of the most important things about this episode. Because he's the kind of, at the moment, he's the kind of the middle of everything that kind of everyone is starting to gravitate towards. And even so much so that, you've got Claire in, Costa Verde, and she's making her way over to New York/New Jersey. Everyone's starting to make their way towards New York once again, much like season 1. So, yeah.
It's the epicenter.
Yeah.
It's the Rome of our times, dear. I'm sorry to break it.
Yeah, exactly.
Peter has a dream recalling the day that he learned his father was dead, and his mother was at Arthur's funeral. I guess I'll just talk about everything that pertains to Arthur. I think that makes the most sense.
Yeah.
Then he has, of course, we get the recap of him stealing his powers, and then Peter wakes up, and he's in a gurney and he can't escape. And, my favorite part, I think my favorite moment in this episode is Arthur's reading Nietzsche, and I'm like, really? That tells you everything you need to know about him, basically. Daphne checks in with Arthur. She's like, he's like, why haven't you recruited Matt? And then he's like, he threatens her. And then she's like, I can fix it. I got this.
They always seem to threaten her with something, but you never know what it is. So, yeah, it's one of those things that never really gets answered, yeah.
No, it does get answered.
Yeah, sorry.
Arthur tells her to kill Matt. And then Murray's like, what? And then he's like, you said he will be fine. And then Arthur's like, whatever, snaps his neck. And I'm like, wow.
That kind of Maury and Park and Matt thing is really weird, because all of a sudden he cares for his son, and at the same token, Matt suddenly cares about his dad. It's just a really weird thing, but they had to kill off someone because, they think killing off people every episode is going to give them ratings. when they're people we don't really care about. So yeah.
As in Lost, I will say
Yes.
this with all my shows: the best cowboys always have daddy issues.
Yeah.
Yep. So then, what else happens? Later, Arthur's with Mohinder looking in on Maya. She's strapped to a bed. He takes away her ability. And then he shows Mohinder the formula and asks Mohinder for his help. And then Mohinder, like, takes a beat. And it seems like he might not do it. Then he goes, "Bring me test subjects."
I still think the best part is where where Arthur just says, "Well, if you don't want to help, you can just leave," and then Mahinder's just like, "Okay, give me test subjects, please." Yeah, I really like the fact because he's not beating around the bush. He's just like, "Well, I'm not going to try and convince you, but you can leave whenever you want." But he knows that Mohinder's going to stay because Mohinder needs to fix himself.
Exactly. Arthur gets accompanied by guards and attempts to take Peter to Mohinder for testing, and I'm like, that's brutal, bro. Peter's gotten out of his cuffs, and Peter runs away. Arthur throws a tray at him, but then, like, stops him in this weird thing, and then Peter, like, ends up going to Mohinder, who attempts to inject Peter with the formula. Then Super Sylar shows up to save Peter from Mohinder. But in the process, Dr. Livitz gets killed, and he's gone.
It's funny how, like, the first thing Peter says to Sylar is like, "You came to save me." He's like, "That's what brothers do." And then the first sign of trouble, Peter just runs off.
He's got the Nathan in him, that one does.
I know, right?
But yeah, this is where Arthur tells Mohinder to stop pummeling Sylar and goes, "Hey, that's my son." And we both go, or just okay, we've got two people separately confirming this. Me no likey. Me no likey.
But then during the episode, we kind of question who's kind of manipulating who. Like, is it Sylar manipulating the Petrellis, or is it each of the Petrellis kind of manipulating Sylar? I really think it's kind of harking back towards the first season of, like, who is in charge kind of deal. And I really like that kind of aspect about it. Because you kind of see, like, Sylar seems like he's on the side of Arthur at this point. Like, I just like the fact that, kind of like the fact that all Sylar wants to do is feel loved and feel accepted for who he is. And Angela's kind of giving it to him at that point. That kind of acceptance. And then all it takes is Arthur kind of saying, "Well, she tried to kill you when you were a kid." And it kind of puts the doubts in his mind. I kind of like that as well. And, yeah.
I will always hate Sylar for actually letting Peter survive. I will always hate him even more for that. Like, you had your opportunity so many times.
But yeah, that happens, so...
Yeah, that's where we are with Arthur and all the little minions he has, all the little plates he's spinning on sticks at this point.
Yep. And so we might as well move on to the Claire and Elle, because I think that's another big major part of it, of this episode.
Two sexy blondes taking on the world. Oh, yeah. Now, seriously, if she was going to have a relationship with anybody, I totally wanted it to be Elle. That's my secret crack ship of all crack ships.
I think this episode kind of, like, reinforms us that, Claire and Elle are the opposites, but they have kind of, like, what could have been. So, like, if Claire had gone to Bob instead of Noah, she would have been Elle. And if Elle had gone to Noah instead of Bob, then she would have been Claire. So, yeah, I really like that kind of fact that, they're showing how similar they are, and it's just the upbringing that kind of made them different. But I also am kind of siding with Elle, like, whenever they argue, because, they have that kind of moment where they're talking, and, when they decide they're going to go to Pinehurst to see if they can be fixed, Claire is like, "Well, I can't feel pain." And Elle's just like, "Well, all I do is feel pain, so, whoop-de-doo for you." So, yeah, I really like that.
Whoop-de-doo for you. I think my two favorite things about this Elle and Claire team up with leads Elle is, like, okay, finally, after, like, catching Eric Doyle, Claire and Sandra come home, they get out of the car, and wouldn't you know it, the damn lights are flickering. They come in, Lyle's injured because he's useless.
And he's also the least favorite person because, as soon as Claire's in trouble, Sandra's off to go help her and just leaving Lyle at home alone. So, yeah.
Well, hey, remember in season 4, they couldn't even be bothered to have him show up for Thanksgiving dinner?
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, they see Lyle says, the bitch is back. And then we see, like, Elle just kind of sitting there, like, having electric spasms.
Yeah.
Oh, God. And I'm like, get Mr. Muggle's doggy back. They get into it, and then Elle apologizes, and she's like, I need help, and I have nowhere else to go. And I'm like, well, I guess you shouldn't have got into that altercation, should you have? I'm just saying.
Did they ever explain what was wrong with her?
No, because Claire said something was wrong with her powers, and we kind of just dropped that storyline too, remember?
Yeah, because I don't know if it was like, because I started when I tweeted out, did anyone know what happened, why the reason was? And English Idiot just went, oh, I think it's to do with what happened with Sylar, because obviously, he tried to take her powers. But also at the same time, I was thinking, well, is this like another offshoot of the Shanti virus at this point? I was like, oh, is her powers shorting out because of that? But yeah, they never
found out.
Yes.
Take a drink, drop plot point. God, we'd be so drunk if we were just binge watching Heroes back to back to back.
I know, right?
So yeah, then like they catch a plane and Ella's panicking and it's like messing with the plane.
Oh God, it's the stupidest idea they've had, having her in a plane. Not only because she can take down the plane because her powers are spazzing out, but also because it's blatantly obvious when she starts sparking up that she's the reason, and no one notices as per usual. It's like something that I was watching. It's like in the last episode, you've got Daphne running in and out to talk to Matt, and no one notices anything. They've even stopped the whole papers flying everywhere whenever she comes and goes. And it's like, well, how did no one know about specials at this point? Because they're making it blatantly obvious that see, I mixed the two words there. You don't like that, but yeah.
Yeah. Then they arrive at Pinehurst, and literally the minute they arrive there, we see Peter falling from the window, and then Peter isn't healing. He's like, my abilities are gone, and so Claire helps Peter, but Elle's like, screw that, I'm going in anyway.
Yeah.
Thanks for the plane ride pep talk.
I know, right?
And then Nathan and Tracy show up.
That's like I said, everyone's starting to make their way towards it's not Kirby. It's not Kirby Plaza anymore. It's Pinehurst. So yeah.
All right, what excruciatingly painful pair do you want to talk about next?
I don't really want to talk about this. I just want to bring up the fact that Tracy brings up the convoluted storyline to everyone, like the family storyline, where she's just like, so you used to had a baby and you're his adopted father, her adopted father. Yeah, that kind of makes sense. And then and then Noah leaves the room and it's just Nathan and his two girls that he's had relations with. All you needed was Heidi there in the corner just looking, and it would have been the most awkward conversation. Yes. Just and he's clapping because look at all these women that you've bedded, Dad. Well done. So yeah. And the little boy would have come back as a 15-year-old at this point, because that's how sometimes American things happen. A little kid goes away, comes back in a soap, and then it's come back as a 15-year-old. But yeah.
Oh, my favorite thing of all time on that note is Fresh Prince, where Nikki was a baby, then we come back the very next fall.
Yeah.
She's 6 years old.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody got time for no babies crying in the corner.
So we could quickly talk about Hiro, Daphne, and Parkman. Well, not that they're together, but just them guys. So yeah, we've already talked about how Usutu is painting Hiro now because he needs a better muse. But all that his storyline serviced for was you kind of have to choose your path or have it chosen for you. So at this moment, it kind of feels like he's a mix of Isaac and Sanjog Isla, in the fact that do you know what I'm saying? Sanjog only ever comes up when you have to make a choice, and Usutu is just yeah, you're either going to make this choice or I'm just going to do it for you. So yeah.
Yeah, but this was so lame. So Arthur sends Daphne back to Matt to recruit for Pinehurst, and then Knox follows her, and when he hears Matt and Daphne talking about going to the company instead, he comes in. It seems like he's killed them after a showdown with Matt, and then he leaves. Matt and Daphne come back into the room, and then Daphne calls Arthur and is yeah, it worked. He thinks I'm on his side. Ugh.
But you're in the room with a telepath. That's probably not the best thing to be talking about.
But Matt would never think, because he's in love with her because of some pipe dream.
I know, right? But there is something I wanted to bring up about the Parkman death, in the fact that, like, I was watching it on Netflix, but you can tell the exact moment when there's a commercial break.
Yeah, it fades out black.
And then it comes back after the commercial break, and he's alive again. Like, they don't even give you time to process, like, the fact that he may be dead. Like, you obviously kind of know that he's not dead because he's like a main character, and they don't like killing off main characters. But it's just like the quickness of yeah, he's oh no, he's not dead. No, he's not dead. It's just his powers the whole time.
It's like
So
when
yeah,
he
I thought
got pushed out the window. I thought that was what that was a nod to.
yeah. But then the only thing we have to really talk about with Daphne is that, you know, is she really working for Pinehurst, or is she working on behalf of herself? Like, that kind of shifting loyalties. Like, people seem to be like moving from, like, they kind of are starting to push like the Pinehurst versus kind of Primatech at this point, and people are like switching allegiances like all the time. Like, the loyalties are just going out all over the place. So yeah, I think she's kind of big into that. And then, you know, you got Elle, who kind of seems like she's going to be on Team Primatech and then just goes straight away when she can get her powers fixed. So yeah. Oh, there is something we have to talk about.
Oh, what is it?
Do we not have to talk about Maya going? Because this is her last episode, is
we
it not?
said her powers got taken away, but we still see her again. It's not, I can't say that we never saw her again until that episode comes up.
Oh, because I thought it was, so I literally live tweeted bye Maya. Oh man, now I look like a dodo.
Well, bye for now. And then we can say
Yeah.
good riddance when it finally happens.
Exactly. So yeah, that's pretty much. I think we pretty much covered it all, unless you've got anything else you'd like to bring up.
Oh, hell no. I'm good. Let's get into the review portion then. Best character.
I think she's a great character. I think she's one of the best the best kind of side characters, because she's so complex, and seeing her kind of hurt here and having to go to, because it makes sense that she's not going to Claire, but she's going to HRG for help, because every time she seems like she wants help, she always goes to him. Like, whenever he's great escaping, she's always the one who kind of is there.
That
And
girl
it makes
got
sense.
daddy issues.
So yeah. Yeah. How about you?
I will agree with you about Elle, but I just absolutely kind of was very smitten with no, not Sylar. No.
Oh,
Yeah.
slip of the tongue there.
Well, no, he was interesting in last episode, but he still annoyed the crap out of me because he didn't let Peter die. So I don't know. I'll just say Elle because I love Kristen Bell. Character interactions.
Obviously has to go to Claire and Elle because of the whole kind of opposites scene where one could have gone and where the other did go. I really like that kind of, that they started pushing that again, because I didn't really spot that the first time I watched it, and it's only on the rewatches that I've started to kind of pick up on that kind of subtle storyline that goes on. So yeah, how about you?
Oh, interactions. I'll give it to Claire and Elle too, I guess. I can't think of anything else because my favorite. I don't want to talk about my favorite scene, so
Okay.
So now we can.
So do you want to talk about your favorite scene? Go on.
Yes. It was like Usutu is making the food, and after Hiro passed out, he looks down. Oh yeah, I tricked him into accepting his destiny.
I really like the whole comedy aspect of Hiro once again, and it seems like they got it right in this one with him, failing to sneak up on Usutu. I really like that kind of part. It seems like they should have just added the old Buster Keaton music in the background at the
Yes.
same time from a couple of episodes ago. So yeah, but yeah, I'll go with that as my favorite scene.
Line.
I will go with son. Until you change your attitude, you're grounded. I loved it because I think only Robert Forster could get away with that amount of cheese and still make it seem a bit kind of villainous, but yeah.
Angela to Sylar. Show them all why you're my favorite. Make mommy proud. And I was like, oh, mommy dears, no.
But it's just funny the way it's like, she's saying, show them all why you're my favorite, make mommy proud, while going to save my actual favorite son. So yeah.
Which Arthur points out.
Yeah, exactly.
Are not going to skip over moment.
Moment, I will probably go with... You go first, because I've got to think.
Lyle. Bitch is back, because that's a Veronica Mars.
I'm probably going to go with the kind of Claire. I'm going to go with Claire and Elle holding hands so she can absorb her power, and then it seems like a really sweet moment, and then at the end Claire just goes, "Do you mind?" And then Elle just like lets go of her hand like really like angrily. I love that bit.
This is still kind of plotting and nonsensical at this point. I'm just like, I wish this season was 11 episodes long at this point. It was really getting tedious and like boring and repetitive, and I was just like, come on, do something good and unexpected.
Yes. Oh, you just sounded like Claude there, talking to Peter.
Basically, this is the mopey Peter part of the season.
I'm just gonna go with the stupidity of having Elle on a plane.
And then the line, I think he's talking about you.
Yeah.
Oh, no stuffing, Sherlock.
What grade would you give it?
Another D-. And I would say F because you just can't have 2 D- episodes back to back. But, I mean, Kristen Bell's in it, so that's like a saving grace of it.
I'm probably gonna go with a C-, like, because as much as like the episode kind of plods along, at least stuff starts to happen, which is everyone's kind of starting to converge on a point. But then obviously the next episode happens, and we kind of go back to kind of exposition city. But yeah, I'm gonna go with a C- in this one. It's scandalous. I'm the one who's giving it a higher grade for once. Jeez.
It's happened twice before. One per season. That's what you can expect.
Fair enough. So trivia I have. We've already talked about some of them, so I'll leave them out. And the only thing is, this marks the first on-screen interaction between Hayden and Ali. So yeah, they never interacted. Like Claire never interacted with Nikki on screen, but obviously, you know, they did kind of meet at Kirby Plaza. So yeah.
All right, graphic novel, Viewpoint.
Basically, this is set a couple of months before something happens. But Sylar is this one is obviously Sylar as a company agent, and it's him having to deal with his past as a serial killer. Like, he's obviously at the company and he's looking at a wall with all the faces of people who he's killed. And another company agent comes up to him, spits in his face, and he decides that, you know, he's got to go out alone and he's going to do this mission alone. And it kind of gets into the tedium of being a company agent with the whole kind of staking out. And he ends up going into this house and saving a character called Rachel, who is there with her boyfriend and two other people. All three of them are from level 5, and yeah, it's just him saving this Rachel, and Rachel at the end of it has to tell him not to kill these people. So it ends up with the company coming, taking them all away, and Rachel's about to get Haitianed, and it's just Sylar knowing that, you know, he was a hero for once, but the person who will think of him as a hero won't remember. So yeah.
The story was by Chuck Kim and the art was by Aletha Martinez. The Easter egg was a behind-the-scenes image of Zachary Quinto, Hayden Panettiere, and Alan Arkush.
Trivia, we have one of the license plates has the password for Benjamin Knox Washington's assignment profile tracker. Sylar's eyes are illustrated as blue, however Zach Quinto's eyes are brown, and that's it. There's something about 2 dead company agents, but
the hell with that. Let's get out of here.
Yeah.
Okay, so listener feedback. I heard we had emails, and I know we got Twitter shoutouts, so let's do it.
Yes. So I will start with the Twitter shoutouts. We have the following people who joined us on the live tweet they were writing or faving. I have Mike Schmidt 09, Demetria Mills 3, Mr. Man 92, Cinzia 667, English Idiot 101, Soft_Guitar 60, and Juan Pablo X_X. Going straight into emails. Who do you think has sent us the email today?
I missed you, Charlie.
Oh, well, you're wrong, because the first one I've got is from Juan Pablo X_X. What?
Well, it's nice to change things up.
I know, right? He has said, I like this episode because it shows an overloaded Elle who is just looking for help. Contradictorily, she goes to the Bennett house where she isn't welcome, but I appreciate the empathy of Claire. I also like the cooperation of Sylar. He saves Peter from his mean father, it's incredible thinking that they were enemies in the first season. And he also says thanks for starting, thanks for the Heroes rewatches. So yeah. And now I have another one from English Idiot 101. Yes, Charlie. Oh, here we go. Dying of the Light was for me a good episode. Matt was quite stalkery when he finally met Daphne, but thankful she didn't fall for it. It was funny with Hiro and Ando being in Africa and Hiro getting hit on the head repeatedly by Usutu. I find it so weird and strange that Sylar was trying to be a good guy. Why did the writers suddenly make him so gullible? It doesn't make sense. I really liked the Claire and Sandra rescue of Meredith, even though she doesn't really like Meredith. And Doyle is so evil and creepy. He should have been a bigger focus. Eris Quod Sum is alright. It was good to see Elle again. She should have had a bigger part as well in the show. Matt and Daphne worked better for me this time, but it's still creepy how Matt thinks they belong together. Again, the Sylar and Peter just shouldn't work. Sylar should have his own storyline. I don't like him being a Petrelli. Other than that, the episode was okay. Not much really happened otherwise, especially since we were building up to villain.
Looks like it's time for some shameless plugs and self-promotion. We'll start with the show contact info. We here at Primatech Files love listener feedback. If you would like to get a hold of us, we have a ton of ways. You can email us via primatechfiles@gmail.com. You can leave us a private message or interact with our posts over on facebook.com/primatechfiles. We live tweet 2 episodes per week every Saturday starting at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. For more information, be sure to follow us on Twitter at primatechfiles. You can also find us on Clamor, Tumblr, and YouTube by simply searching for Primatech Files. If you enjoy this podcast, be sure to rate, review, and subscribe to us on iTunes. What's that? You don't have an iTunes account? That's okay. We're on a lot of podcatcher services such as Stitcher and SoundCloud. All you have to do is search for, you guessed it, Primatech Files. We're also on Libsyn, and if you want to follow our RSS feed there, all you have to do is go to primatechfiles.libsyn.com and bookmark the site to stay up to date with this podcast. Libsyn is spelled Libsyn, just in case you were wondering. We look forward to interacting with you.
If you love our podcast, be sure to check out Southgate Media Group's iTunes provider page to see a list of what other podcasts are hot and trending in our network. Or you can take that one step further and visit southgatemediagroup.com, where you can find a full list of our 80-plus podcasts, along with weekly blogs and information about all the hosts. With so many podcasts that cover everything from anime to wrestling, there's sure to be tons of podcasts that could interest you.
Now, our personal shameless plugs. Hey guys, you should know by now that you can find me on Twitter at Lilith Hellfire. If you have a Tumblr, be sure to check out it's lilithhellfire.tumblr.com. And of course, be sure to swing by my blog if you are a pop culture junkie or comic book geek at littlepopculturevulture.blogspot.com. I also host several other podcasts on the Southgate Media Group network. Some of them are The Flashpoint, Queen Consolidated, and Channel 52. So if you are into, obviously, DC comic book related stuff, be sure to check it out.
You can find my writings at tvbinges.com. It's a place for all your binge watching needs, and you can also create your own TV binge and we'll help promote it. We do a monthly binge watch, which you're more than welcome to join in. Just go to their Twitter at tvbinges just to find out more information. You can find me on Twitter at RickyJDS. That's RICKYJDIAZ, or Z if you're American.
That brings us to the wrap up. You know the spiel. That's all we have for you on this installment of Primatech Files. We hope you've enjoyed our discussion of episode 307. See, I can't even... Thank you.
Eris Quod Sum. Eris Quod Sum.
Pronunciation. Please remember to keep sending us those emails. Don't be afraid to interact with us over on Facebook, facebook.com/Primatech Files. And please, if you have time, join in our weekly live tweets every Saturday starting at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Ricky?
Download the podcast, save the world.